Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, where nature hides its greatest mysteries, fascinating stories have been passed down through generations. Today I invite you to travel to Brazil, a land of magic and legends, to discover 3 astonishing tales that will transport you to a world where the impossible comes to life. First, we will explore the story of the rainbow serpent, a majestic creature that shaped rivers and lands with its immense power. Then, we will dive into the toad and the toucan, a fable full of cleverness and lessons about friendship and survival. And finally, we will uncover the legend of Curupira, the guardian of the forest, a mysterious being with backward feet and flaming hair, a relentless protector of the jungle against those who seek to harm it. If you love stories filled with magic, mystery, and adventure, this video is for you. Stay until the end and get ready for an unforgettable journey through Brazilian folklore.
The story of the rainbow serpent, a cobra grande, deep in the Amazon rainforest, where rivers are as wide as seas and trees rise like giants, the indigenous peoples told the story of a colossal and mythical creature, a cobra grande, the great serpent. It was also known as boitat, mboitat, or simply the rainbow serpent, and it was said to dwell in the deep waters of rivers, lakes, and lagoons, guarding the secrets of the jungle. According to legend, a cobra grande was no ordinary snake, but a supernatural being, as enormous as a mountain and as radiant as the colors of the rainbow. Its shimmering, scaly skin reflected the sunlight in countless hues, and when it emerged from the water, its body sparkled with the colors of the sky after the rain. Some said its eyes burned like fire, while others claimed it had the power to control the waters, summon storms and floods, or bring drought. The origins of the rainbow serpent stories about a cobra grande vary among the indigenous peoples of the Amazon, but many agree that this serpent was an ancient spirit born from the gods of the water. Some say that, at the beginning of time, the world was only darkness and water, and the gods created the serpent to rule the rivers and maintain balance. Others tell that it was a spirit of the jungle transformed into a serpent as punishment for its greed, condemned to wander the rivers forever, devouring everything in its path. However, some believed that it was not an evil creature, but a guardian of nature, punishing those who harmed the jungle and its inhabitants. The story of the curious brother-zone of the most well-known versions of the legend tells the story of 2 indigenous brothers who lived in a village near a great lake. Since childhood, they had heard the elders' warnings about a cobra grande. Never go near the lake at night, the wise men would say. The serpent lives there, and its hypnotic song can lure the unwary into the depths. But the brothers, filled with curiosity and skepticism, did not believe those stories. They decided they would see for themselves whether the serpent truly existed. So, on a full moon night, they took a canoe and ventured into the lake's waters. They paddled in silence, waiting for any sign of the creature. Suddenly, the water began to ripple, though there was no wind. A strange murmur floated in the air, like a distant song. The waters lit up with colorful reflections dancing on the surface, and a golden glow emerged from the lake's depths. Before they could react, a gigantic shadow moved beneath the canoe. The water's surface exploded into a whirlpool as a cobra grande emerged, rising its colossal body toward the sky. Its eyes burned like embers, and its scales shimmered with the colors of the rainbow. The brothers were paralyzed with fear. The serpent stared at them, and its hypnotic presence prevented them from moving. They felt their minds clouding, as if they were falling into a deep sleep. But at the last moment, the older brother remembered the elder's words, "Close your eyes and don't listen to its song." He shouted. The younger brother barely managed to react before a cobra grand let out a deafening roar. The canoe rocked violently, and the brothers paddled with all their strength toward the shore. The serpent pursued them, raising giant waves, but at the last moment, the young men reached land and ran to the village. The next morning, they told what they had seen. From that day on, no one in the village doubted the existence of the great serpent. The elders reinforced their warnings, and it is said that after that night, a cobra grand was seen more frequently, as if reminding humans not to challenge the mysteries of the jungle, the rainbow serpent, and its role in nature buy-in. The fear it inspired, many indigenous people believed that a cobra grand was a guardian of the water and the jungle. It was said that when humans abused the rivers by polluting them or overfishing, the serpent would become enraged and unleash floods. But when humans respected nature, the serpent would sleep deep in the water, allowing life in the forest to flourish. Some myths say that the serpent also had the power to transform into a human and walk among men. At times, it would take the form of a wise old man to test people's kindness. Those who showed humility and respect received its blessing, while the arrogant and greedy were punished. The legacy of a cobra grandetidae, the legend of the rainbow serpent, remains alive in the culture and beliefs of many indigenous communities in Brazil. Petroglyphs have been found on rocks near rivers and caves in the Amazon that seem to depict the great serpent. Additionally, during times of heavy rain, some claim to see its silhouette in the sky or in the reflections of the river's dot in the heart of the jungle. Where nature is still powerful and mysterious, people continue to respect the water and the forest, remembering that, somewhere in the depths, a cobra grand is still watching, ready to awaken if humans forget their duty to protect the land. The toad and the toucan, deep in the Amazon rainforest, where rivers sing among the trees and flowers shine with vibrant colors, lived a toad named Curupira. Unlike other toads who enjoyed the peace of the swamps, Curupira was curious and a dreamer. He always gazed at the treetops, wishing to see the world from above. How I wish I could fly. He sighed as he watched the birds soar through the sky, but his reality was quite different. With his rough skin and plump body, he was doomed to clumsily hop between muddy puddles. Though he tried to reach the lower branches, he never managed to climb very high. One day, while resting by a small stream, he saw a toucan with resplendent plumage fly by. Its enormous yellow beak gleamed in the sun, and its black and blue wings sliced through the air with grace. Curupira was mesmerized and thought that this was the perfect bird to help him fulfill his dream of flying. "Mr. Toucan," Curupira called out enthusiastically, "teach me how to fly." The toucan, whose name was Tupi, landed on a low branch and looked at the toad with curiosity. "Fly?" he chuckled with his raspy voice. "But my friend, you are a toad. Toads jump, they don't fly. But I want to try," Curupira insisted. "If you help me, I will find a way." Amused by the toad's persistence, Toucan decided to test him. "Very well, little Curupira," he said. "If you truly want to fly, climb up to that tall rock and jump. If you are worthy of flying, the wind will carry you without hesitation." The toad climbed up the rock as best he could. His heart pounded with excitement. He closed his eyes, stretched out his legs, and leaped with all his might, but instead of flying, he belly flopped straight to the ground with a loud plop. Toucan couldn't hold back his laughter. "I'm sorry, my friend, but toads aren't made for the sky." Curupira, sore and with his pride wounded, refused to give up. "If I can't fly on my own, then I will befriend a bird." The toad's plancure began following Toucan every day. He told him stories, sang songs in his raspy voice, and offered him fresh insects. Little by little, Toucan started enjoying the toad's company, and they stopped being mere acquaintances to become true friends. "All right, Curupira, I like you," the toucan said one day. "I will take you flying with me, but only once." The toad jumped with joy. "Thank you, Toucan. You won't regret it." Toucan came up with a plan. He tied Curupira to his beak with a vine, securing him tightly so he wouldn't fall. Then, with a strong flap of his wings, he took off at first. Curupira felt dizzy, but soon he was in awe of the view. From above, he could see the vast green tapestry of the jungle, the rivers winding between the trees, and the rainbows that appeared after the showers. "This is incredible," he croaked excitedly. "Now I'm a flying toad." But then the excitement went to his head. Forgetting that he was still just a simple toad, he began mocking the other animals. "Look at that slow sloth. Look at those frogs trapped in their puddles. Now I am superior." Toucan frowned. "Curupira, don't forget who you are." But the toad, drunk with the thrill of flying, didn't listen. "Now I am the king of the sky." Just then, a strong gust of wind shook the air. Toucan struggled to stay steady, but the toad, still boasting and moving too much, slipped from the vine. "Ah!" he screamed as he plummeted. The toad hit a branch, bounced off a palm leaf, and landed flat on his back on the ground with a great plop. The jungle animals gathered around after hearing the thunderous landing. Curupira, dazed and covered in mud, felt everyone's amused stares. From above, Toucan called out, "Next time, my friend, remember that no matter how high you fly, humility is what keeps you in the air." The toad, embarrassed, understood the lesson. The legacy of the story since then. Toads have been known for their jumping persistence, but also for their tendency to be a little vain. The people of the jungle say that although Curupira learned his lesson, there are still some toads who dream of flying and sometimes try to trick birds into carrying them. And though toads have never conquered the sky, their story continues to be told as a lesson in humility and friendship throughout the Brazilian rainforest. Curupira, the guardian spirit of the forest deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest, where trees rise like giants and rivers flow like veins of life, there exists a mysterious and feared creature, Curupira, the guardian of nature. It is said that he dwells in the dense forests of Brazil, hiding in the shadows of the undergrowth and watching those who venture into his territory. He is not just any spirit. He is an ancient being, a force of nature tasked with protecting the flora and fauna of the jungle from those who seek to destroy it. But what makes Curupira truly unique is his appearance. He has fiery red hair, burning like flames, and his feet are turned backward. This peculiarity confuses hunters and loggers, for when they try to follow his tracks, they end up heading in the wrong direction, getting lost in the vastness of the forest. The origin of Curupira, the story of Curupira, has been told by the indigenous peoples of Brazil for centuries. Some say he was created by the spirits of the forest as a guardian, while others believe he was once an ancient shaman transformed into the eternal protector of the jungle. Curupira is fast and cunning. He can run as swiftly as the wind and move with impossible agility among the trees. Although not very large, his strength is formidable, capable of toppling trees or lifting a man with ease. Moreover, he has a terrifying trick. He can mimic human voices. Many hunters who have dared to challenge him, they have heard the cries of a child in the distance or the desperate calls for help of a lost person. But when they approach to help, they are met with Curupira's mocking laughter, disorienting them until they lose their way back. The punishment of hunters and loggers. Curupira is not evil, but he is relentless against those who harm the forest without necessity. If a hunter kills more animals than he needs for food, Curupira will punish him. Sometimes he will make him lose his way in the jungle for days, unable to find his way back. Other times, he will cause his rifle to disappear or his arrows to mysteriously break. If a logger cuts down trees without the forest's permission, Curupira will relentlessly pursue him. Many have claimed that, as night falls, they hear the sound of footsteps running around them, but when they look, no one is there. Some have woken up in completely unknown places, as if an invisible force had dragged them away while they slept. In the most extreme cases, Curupira can become truly cruel. Some say he has driven hunters mad, making them run in circles until they collapse from exhaustion. Others claim to have seen the bodies of hunters who never managed to escape the forest, their faces frozen in expressions of terror. But if someone respects the jungle, Curupira will protect them. There are stories of travelers who, lost in the wilderness, have felt a warm breeze and a whisper guiding them back to a safe path. A hunter's encounter with Curupira. One of the oldest stories about Curupira tells of a hunter named Toucan. He was a strong and experienced man, known for capturing jaguars and collecting pelts to sell at the market. One day, Toucan decided to venture farther than usual. He had heard that deep in the jungle lived enormous and agile deer, and he wanted to catch them to make himself rich. He prepared his best bow and arrows, took his machete, and entered the rainforest. After several hours, he found fresh tracks. Excited, he began to follow them. However, after walking for a long while, he noticed something strange. The tracks seemed to be moving in circles. How is this possible? He wondered. I've been walking in a straight line. Suddenly, the air grew heavy, and a strange sound echoed through the trees. A sharp, mocking laugh. Juka felt a chill run down his spine. He quickly turned around, and to his horror, he saw a small but imposing figure standing before him. Its eyes were like burning embers. Its red hair blazed in the sunlight, and its feet were turned backward. Do you think you can take what is not yours? Curupira said in a deep, echoing voice. Juka tried to run, but the forest seemed to close in around him. He tripped over roots that hadn't been there before. Branches seemed to grab at him, and the air filled with an eerie murmuring. He ran desperately, but the further he went, the more lost he became. Curupira followed effortlessly, always appearing just a few steps ahead. After hours of desperation, exhausted and defeated, Juka fell to his knees and cried out, "Forgive me, spirit of the forest. I will never hunt unnecessarily again." Silence filled the air. Curupira observed him for a long moment and, without saying a word, disappeared into the trees. Juka woke up the next day near his village, not remembering how he had gotten there. From then on, he became a protector of the forest, teaching others to respect the jungle and take only what was necessary. The legacy of Curupira. Today, the legend of Curupira remains alive in Brazil, especially among the inhabitants of the jungle and indigenous communities. It is said that he still watches over the forests, punishing those who harm them and protecting those who respect them. Cautious hunters and loggers leave small offerings for Curupira, such as fruit or tobacco, before entering the jungle, hoping for his permission to hunt or cut wood. Some believe that when the wind whistles through the trees and distant laughter echoes in the wilderness, it is Curupira still roaming the forest, ensuring that no one forgets his presence. Conclusion: the story of Curupira is more than just a legend. It is a reminder of the respect humans must have for nature. In a world where the Amazon rainforest faces constant threats, Curupira remains a symbol of protection and justice for the people who depend on the jungle to live. So, if you ever walk through the forest and find that the footprints seem to be leading in the wrong direction, perhaps, just perhaps, Curupira is watching you.
We have traveled together through the Amazon rainforest and discovered incredible stories. The mighty rainbow serpent, the cleverness in the toad and the toucan, and the protective spirit of the forest, Curupira. Each of these legends teaches us respect for nature and the magic that dwells in every corner of Brazil. I hope you enjoyed these stories as much as I enjoyed telling them. But this is not the end. Very soon, we will explore more myths and legends from different parts of the world. If you want more stories like these, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next adventure. See you in the next video.